Welcome to Soccer Night in Detroit, almost live at the Detroit City Clubhouse, and this is it. Game day number 34, or game week 34, Detroit City and the 2024 regular season against the San Antonio FC. Like I said, it's going to be a wild one because we have one team to look at our back. Indianapolis. Indianapolis is starting early against Tampa Bay. That's 6 o'clock on ESPN Plus. And us are facing on the 2022 champion, San Antonio. And I'm kind of surprised the pillow fight is over. And guess who's out? San Antonio. 2 years removed from winning the title, they're out. They're outside looking in, but they could play playoff spoiler. Now remember, if Detroit wins or draw, and if we get in the playoffs, if, like I say, we draw and Indianapolis beat Tampa Bay, we hold the tiebreaker, so we're good for third. But, oh, brother, we're going to have to reveal the first round opponent. It could be anybody. It could be Tampa Bay. It could be North Carolina. It could be Pittsburgh. It could be Loudoun. Who knows? Round go. Where will we host? Nobody knows. For our first home playoff game next Saturday over at Keyword Stadium. And yes, there's also seating in the Western Conference. Believe it or not, that playoff race was ended early when Phoenix, the defending champion, sneakily got in the playoff. You can see all the playoff action decision day on ESPN Plus. If you have ESPN Plus, or the Detroit City game is also on ESPN Plus. But if you rather see it on local TV, it's going to be on WKBD CW Detroit 50 at 8:30. And if you're outside or the Detroit area, or you do not have near a TV or anywhere in Michigan, you could log on to CBSDetroit.com. All right, let's bring in Madcap, and we'll talk about this wild and crazy week we're having.
Tonight, from Toyota Field in San Antonio, Texas, Detroit City FC plays their final regular season match against San Antonio FC. Happy match day, folks, and welcome to Detroit City Fieldhouse. This guy here ends up showing up on, for the pregame show. So, hey.
I've done the intro. I can't believe I'm invading the pregame.
my Don Cherry to my Ron McClain here.
Well, I'm not crazier than Don McClain Don Cherry.
Or for old school Dave Hodge or Howie Meeker to Dave Hodge, for all the, since it's soccer night in Detroit, I got to have some sort of a sidekick.
Okay.
Here. So Steve's here, and yes, we are.
The game, cheers.
Cheers. As we get set for a battle between Detroit City FC and the San Antonio FC. Well, yeah.
San Antonio FC.
Yeah, you can't say the San Antonio FC with those guys. But they are the 2022 USL champions. They've fallen off on hard times to the point now they have been eliminated from the competition. Now, the question is, tonight, is this going to be a dead rubber match by the time halftime comes? We kick off at 8:30. Tampa Bay and Indy kick off at 7:30. So by halftime, we will know where the positioning will be for Detroit City FC.
It is the big game for playoff positioning. Last week, we locked up home field for the playoffs, for round one of the playoffs. We could get an extra game if certain things happen between 2 and 7 or 7v2. But like I said, it's all substantial. A Detroit win or a draw, we're in the playoff. Draw, let me tell you, if we draw and Indy somehow win, we own the tiebreaker because of head-to-head. Yep. Because we beat them the first time in Indy, and we
right
draw.
Now, I think the only teams we don't have head-to-head advantages on in the those in the playoff race and whatnot, Pittsburgh, Hartford, and of course Louisville City.
I know.
Actually, Louisville City was a 1-1, so that's even up there. But by goal differential, whatever. Louisville has the advantage on us. We still have to go there.
Yeah.
Regardless of that. However, things can happen in the playoffs. As you know, last year, Dominic Gasso with the goal. Detroit City upends the 1 seed, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
The Pittsburgh Miracle.
Oh, yes. The Pittsburgh Miracle? Yeah, I wouldn't say too much of a miracle, to be honest with you, because the week before at Keyworth Stadium, both teams played to a 0-0 draw in a very, very defensively played game between the two sides. And, as I mentioned, Detroit City came out victorious thanks to that kick by Gasso.
Oh, yeah.
In Pittsburgh.
It was a miracle.
The place went nuts.
And don't forget Steinweicher with the stop of then Albert Peakwood. Yes.
Absolutely. Great game for Detroit City the following week. Well, we won't go there. We won't go there.
I know.
But, that remains to be seen. That's for next week. This week, though, we're talking San Antonio. And, of course, as you know, Detroit clinched the home field with the 3-0 victory over the Miami FC on Saturday at Keyworth Stadium.
Putting their goal differential at a -56. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're still peed off by the commentary on the All Access program. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah. That. You know what? I was told by certain people.
Yeah. Right.
I was told that Detroit City didn't belong in this league.
That was 3 years ago.
I was told that.
That was 3 years ago.
Since then, make the playoffs first year.
Yes.
Second year. We barely make the playoffs.
Yes, you're right.
We beat Pittsburgh first round.
Yes.
Right now, we're sitting in third in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, that's a weird juxtaposition. Just remember, on March 12th, our first game in the USL Championship League after 2 dominant league season in Nista, and I did check the protein grade, still there, by the way.
Yep.
Everybody thought we were going to be killed in that first match. San Antonio FC had a great season, made the playoffs, almost made the finals, and we thought we were going to be killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that magical penalty shot saved by Steinweicher proved that they do belong in this league.
We only lost 1-0 in that game.
Yes.
And San Antonio was the eventual champion in 2022, beating Lou City in the final, as a matter of fact.
I know.
And
incidentally,
then all of a sudden, they lose all. I believe they lost last year.
Yes.
I'm going to go back here in my archive.
Okay.
On let's see. We'll see the playoff. Let's see. San Antonio back in. I don't know. I'm trying to get current here, but matches. So let's go back to 2023 in the playoffs. San Antonio lost last year to Sacramento Republic, who ended up going to the final. They ended up going to the Western final, who ended up losing to Phoenix Rising that year. So their 2023 season, they were still competitive. This year, so many problems, so many injuries, and that's why San Antonio fell pretty much by the wayside and ended up being they're 3 points out of a playoff spot. So,
but Phoenix hold the tiebreaker.
Exactly, and that's going to be their saving grace tonight. Should they go into Louisville and lose that game, which is probably going to be highly likely at Lynn Family Stadium, because Lou City almost never loses in that building.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah. So it really is a.
That is the beauty justification of a soccer league. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have teams like Louisville being on top of their game, and other times you're going to have other teams that are on the top of the game, and either they had a shocking barely make the playoffs, and like in San Antonio's case, they're missing the playoffs. And also a team that is pretty bad could be near number 2 seed,
Las Vegas Lights.
Las Vegas Lights. They were the laughing stock of the entire league last year.
I equate that to the fact that great. Jose Bautista bought
Major League Baseball slugging legend, by the way.
Joey Bats bought into the club, started investing more into the club, and the next thing you know, They're competing. You know, they're going to be having a home playoff match.
Mm-hmm.
A club that never made the playoffs is going to be hosting a playoff match
for the coming first time.
Coming up next week
in big of a Las Vegas.
Yeah. So they are probably one of the best. You know, one of the like I said, one of the top teams in the
potential sleepers in the playoffs. You know
absolutely. So,
judging from what happened in the Western Conference playoffs, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Judging what we could say from the Western Conference in general, anything can happen in the Western Conference.
And one more thing, I was surprised, like everybody else, considering if you saw the standings on the West side. Usually we are focused on the Eastern Conference because we're on the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
It was tight all around until last week when Phoenix locked it up. And the pillow fight war, they had to kick out Monterey Bay, they had to kick out the newcomer Tulsa, and they had to kick out San Antonio and said, okay, fight is over, you guys out, these guys will fight it out. Whoever faces on the pillow fight team in the East.
Yeah, and it's not really a pillow fight as more of it's a sword fight right now. And we'll look into it more as we're going on. But
I did not mention the pillow fight. It was the two guys from All Access. So,
Yep. Mike Watts and Devin Kerr, to be exact on that.
Yeah.
So, but let's take a look at this San Antonio game. As we mentioned, Detroit clinched a spot in the clinched a home playoff game. Where it sits at the end of the night, it all depends on results going down at IMG Stadium in Tampa Bay. That game kicks off at 7:30.
That's part one.
Yep. So, and we'll find out a score probably around halftime of this match. The Rouge has not been defeated on the road since their loss away on July 31st at Trinity Health Park against Hartford Athletics.
Oh, yeah.
Since then, they have played to a record of 3-3-0.
Wow.
Overall this year, the Rouge has a record of 7-5-4, second in the USL Championship. So they are a very good road team.
And could be dangerous on the road if we are fourth on the road against, let's say, a Charlottesville in round 2, maybe.
Yeah, and San Antonio, I think they've scored as I'm looking at they scored 8 goals in their last 5 matches, have kept a clean sheet in their last 6, and they, this has the makings of possibly it could be a dead rubber draw at the end of the night, but you're looking at Detroit City right now. They're starting to come together as far as getting goals are concerned. 9 goals in their last 5 matches, including the 3 that they put up on Miami FC last week. Unbeaten in their last 6 away games. I mean, they could be a problem, I think, tonight for San Antonio.
Oh, yeah.
I think San Antonio right now, they may be gassed. I mean, there's going to be players playing for their jobs at this point.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's basically a dead rubber match for San Antonio altogether.
Dead rubber match. For anybody who are typing in for the first time, what do you mean by dead rubber match?
Dead rubber match is basically nothing to play for.
Oh,
it's really nothing really to play for. They got eliminated last week. San Antonio did.
They have nothing to play for.
There's really nothing to play for there.
Detroit City, we have to play for third. Fight for third.
Yeah. We have to fight for third. But like I said, it could be a dead rubber second half because at that point we would know our fate as far as the playoffs go. Where we'd be a third or fourth seed. The only question will be who will be our opponent.
Oh,
and we will find that out at the end of the night tonight. Plenty of stuff going on.
Who is going to be our playoff? It could be Indy. It could be Tampa Bay. It could be Pittsburgh. It could be Loudoun. It could be Hartford. Not Birmingham. They need a miracle, let's say, if they win their game, which is, I'll bet you win Pig Fight. Yeah. That will happen.
Yeah, and even Loudoun United is still in the picture as far as that goes as well. But Loudoun United could leapfrog Birmingham for that spot. So basically, Birmingham's base. They pretty much call themselves out. They've lost all tiebreakers. Yeah, they've lost all tiebreakers there.
Okay.
So we're looking at the standings, as you know. 3rd, 4th, and 5th right now. You got Rhode Island FC sitting in the 5th spot.
They surprised everybody after starting the season so slow.
Yes, exactly. All them draws. All them draws are getting them to this point.
Thanks for the draws. Thank you very much. How many draws do they have?
Points matter in this league.
How many draws did they have?
They have They have 15 draws.
Oh my!
15 draws on the years, 11 wins and 7 losses on the year. So, who they say draws don't matter in soccer. They absolutely do. They absolutely do, because that's 1 point. You're not losing point. You don't come away with 0. No. You're not coming away with 3, but you at least get a point. Yes. The other team gets a point too, but that's decided. Yes. It really matters. So, who says draws never matter in soccer, and it's a 1-1 draw can be boring? Well, yeah. Yeah.
Unless you score the first goal and keep passing for the entire game, just like an infamous World Cup match from 1982.
Or many city matches where we've gone up 1-0, and the next thing you know,
we park the bus.
We either park the bus, and then next thing you know, a bad defensive mistake happens. Game ends up being 1-1.
Better.
As we're looking right now, they got the early match, Charleston Battery.
They're okay in number 2.
Yeah, they're okay.
Going to wait until
they're taking on Loudoun United. Loudoun has to come away with points in this one, and by points I mean more than just 1. They have to get 3, and it's going to be tough to do at Patriots Point tonight. So, but as we're looking at the standings, top 2 are sealed pretty much. Detroit's could seal tonight with a point or a draw down in Tampa or IMG Stadium. Rhode Island, they could clinch 5th seed on that draw as well. Rhode Island tonight, they take on the Miami FC.
Oh my!
Speaking of teams that cannot get their act together,
I'm sorry, I have to laugh.
Yeah, speaking of teams that cannot get their act together, you're talking about
easy 3 for
Ricardo Silva.
Yeah. What the thing was named after before Pitbull bought the naming rights to become Pitbull Stadium.
Yeah, but Ricardo Silva, has he really put anything into this club?
No.
I mean,
and I mentioned about how weird that the standing could happen from hot from 1 minute, mild next minute, or mild to hot. They went from 1 more game to hopefully to be in the playoffs last year before.
Russell Cicerone.
Boo is out, and they've been dead. 3 wins, 2 draws, 28 LOL.
This is where we see where investment is not being used.
Yeah, you're right.
Where Javi Batista put his investment to work. Ricardo Silva has not really put his investment.
My God.
We don't know if this team's going to be a developmental squad. I mean, my personal feeling is,
or shoved them to League One. Hey, League One, you got
that's
a hot
my personal
team.
feeling. Let's go to League One, figure things out. I've heard talk about, put them in League Two. I mean, they could probably beat NISA level competition.
Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to choose a different stadium, unlike Pitbull Stadium. Excuse me, because
the guy is planning. Ricardo Silva is planning on building a 10,000 seat stadium down in Homestead,
which is how many miles from Miami?
Oh, roughly 40.
40. Oh shoot! It looked like a drive from Detroit to Flint.
Pretty much.
If you're going to call yourself Miami.
Or back in the day. How many miles was the Silverdome from Tiger Stadium?
I think 30 miles.
Yeah.
30 miles.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, moving them out to the suburbs. Thinking about moving them out to the suburbs.
And don't forget, they're being killed by the other Miami team in the other 3-letter name stadium, which I will not mention if I was wearing my work, shirt.
Yeah. But, the thing is with that, my Inter Miami's going to win hands down the soccer battle all day. Like,
unless they meet in the U.S. Open Cup. Open Cup.
Yeah. Sorry. But the thing is with that, too, it's just like Orange County battling with the 2 L.A. teams.
LAFC and L.A.
And now you're going to have Brooklyn coming into the league in a year or 2. They're going to be competing with the 2 New York teams.
North
Chicago
team.
North Chicago teams. However, Milwaukee's supposed to be coming in the league, in the near future as well. So you got the Milwaukee, Chicago.
They were supposed to come in next year, but they deferred it to 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a Milwaukee, the I-94 Milwaukee-Chicago thing there because, you got major city. Some of them, you got a major city in Milwaukee. You got a huge major city in Chicago. However, Chicago doesn't really draw well for MLS. So, unless Messi comes into town, they can probably pack Soldier Field.
Yeah, they had their own stadium. They decided to move back to Soldier Field, for God's sake. What the hell?
I don't think they could ever they could never figure anything out since Peter Wolt had that club.
Yeah.
All right, going back into the schedule thing, or going back into the schedule thing here. Charleston and Loudoun just got underway here as we speak.
And I think they're seeing all their starters because they're just ready for the playoffs.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes. I would assume that, but you never know. You're going to see a lot of that. Charleston's going to look at this as dead rubber. Obviously, Loudoun's not going to think that way because they have a chance to hop into that 8th spot in the Eastern Conference. North Carolina takes on Las Vegas Lights tonight. As we mentioned, Las Vegas Lights, they're on their way. They could possibly get a top 2 seed in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
North Carolina, however, though,
they need a win.
They need a win there.
And then some weird
need some
stuff.
points.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they sit in the 8th spot. Should be an easy time against El Paso over at Highmark Stadium tonight.
They're dead last in the West. So, but a lot better record, by the way, I have to mention.
Yeah, it should be an easy one. El Paso, though, has some grit, has some tenacity, but we all know Bob Lilly. Bob Lilly will bring it every single time.
And who knows? Maybe our first round opponent. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Okay.
Not yet. But,
let's continue. We're doing it.
But anyhow, let's see. We got Louisville City versus Phoenix Rising tonight, and this one, it's pretty much a dead. We got Carlos here.
Right. Hi, Carlos.
Yeah. The masked man.
The masked man.
The masked man is with us tonight here.
I know.
But this is pretty much I wouldn't say dead rubber. Phoenix is in. They can try to get points to get above, but you cannot win at Lynn Family Stadium, as it's been proven by many a team this year in the USL Championship. The big game.
Tampa Bay Indy.
7:30 tonight. With a win, Tampa Bay can leapfrog Rhode Island into the 5th spot, and possibly
Detroit City in the 4th
leapfrog.
spot.
They cannot catch. They cannot catch the 11th. So with a win, they can leapfrog Rhode Island.
Okay.
But should Rhode Island win, and it should be an easy victory.
Okay. Yeah, it's an easy victory.
But Indy 11, should they win temporarily, Indy 11 would hold that 3rd spot in the Eastern Conference until the results are over in San Antonio. So
a point or a win. That's all.
That's So with a Detroit City loss and an Indy win, Indy will take the 3rd spot, and then and it's all about a path to avoid Louisville.
I know
at this point.
I know
because Louisville's the juggernaut. I know they can be had eventually because it's been proven in the past. They come in there like gangbusters in the regular season. When it comes to the playoff time, they cannot finish the job. Whether it be in the USL Championship game or the USL Cup, Eastern Conference Championship, whatever. They've made 9 straight Eastern Conference championships. They've managed to get it done a couple times.
Yes.
They've got a couple stars on there.
Yes.
Pre-2018.
Uh-huh.
So pre-pandemic. Pre-pandemic. Okay. So it's up to them what they do.
Okay.
But the big key here on that game, obviously, Tampa Bay wins, beats in the 11. Detroit City set at third spot. They could, like I said, could leapfrog Rhode Island, but if Rhode Island wins, we know who we're standing. We play Tampa Bay next Saturday at Keyword Stadium.
Brother.
So that's how that.
There's no place for like a nervous person today.
No, definitely not.
Like Mickey would say.
The Western Conference is, like I said, it's pretty much a dead deal.
Yeah.
FC Tulsa and Monterey Bay, They play at 9 o'clock.
No.
Rhode Island, Miami FC. That's a 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a 9 o'clock kick. That's an interesting start.
Yeah,
for
you're right. For an East Coast game, 9 o'clock. What the hell?
I don't know. Who knows what's going on there? They're probably waiting to see what happens between Tampa Bay and But I think it might be an 8 o'clock kick because I think all these times are pretty much are pretty much all subject now to how do we say it? Greenwich Mean Time, because they're going through the time change next week. That's probably why we got
the time change. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for mentioning that.
All right, the 10 o'clock games. New Mexico takes on Memphis 901 FC.
Both during the playoffs?
Yep. Oakland Roots taking on Birmingham Legion. Now, Birmingham Legion, technically, they are still in the playoffs. However, mathematical chances have them pretty much out of playoff contention.
And they lost every playoff tiebreaker.
So that's basically a double rubber match. Okay. Orange County takes on Hartford Athletic. Hartford Athletic right now in the Eastern Conference sits in ninth, just behind Pittsburgh.
There should be one.
So
they have to win, or Pittsburgh lose.
Pittsburgh would have to lose. Yes. I don't know how the tiebreaker setup is on that.
Okay.
But Pittsburgh would have to lose pretty much for them to take over the 8th spot and eliminate them. But like I said, there's going to be all kinds of scrambling between 7th, 8th, and 9th.
We played the Mad Dash for soccer tonight, and if you step on, you're in the playoffs, you win. And there's only 2 spots left.
Right. Realistically, there is only 2 spots left, and that's between those 3 there.
Yeah.
So basically, Pittsburgh wins, they're in. Let's see. Who else? North Carolina wins, they're in. So.
Yeah. And
then the last game of the night, Sacramento takes on Colorado Springs. So, I mean, pretty much dead rubber as far as the Western Conference goes there. So, predictions.
Predictions. I think Detroit City will get the tie tonight. You know what I mean? I would love to see them win, but honestly, with a team nothing to play for pride and their home fans, I'm going to say tie, and they're going to be in the playoffs.
I'm going to go possibly. I mean, you're looking at San Antonio going scores. I think we might have a little bit of firepower left in us. And the way our road form has been, there's a good possibility we could steal a point tonight. San Antonio basically is playing for nothing but their jobs tonight. But they're going to go out there and they're going to try their best. I get that. I think Detroit goes in. I see Ben Moore scoring a goal.
Yes.
Maxi Rodriguez is playing in front of his home folk tonight.
Yeah.
You're going to see at least 100 Maxi Rodriguez supporters.
He's from San Antonio.
Yeah, at Toyota Field tonight.
Yeah.
Cheering him on.
Here's a bigger question. Do you think he's going to get a goal tonight? He could be the first
I'd say it's going to be
player.
I think it's going to be Ben Morse getting number 9, Maxi Rodriguez getting 10.
Yes. And that will be the first Detroit player to have double digits to end the season in a long time.
Yes, exactly. Because we didn't have any double-digit scores last year.
Or in the year before that when we entered the USL.
Right.
Yeah.
So that'd be good on Maxi Rodriguez there. Well deserving of the Black Arrow Award especially for his play throughout the year, regardless of the tallies around the net. So we'll be back here
post game.
After the match, we'll have the scores from the earlier games tonight. Maybe it could get a couple blips from the later games, and as will be done at 10:30.
And by the way, if you want to see all the craziness, all the games are on ESPN Plus. If you have ESPN Plus, including Detroit City against San Antonio, and if you're in the Detroit area, it's going to be on CW Detroit 50, WKBD TV, channel 50 at 8:30. And if you're outside the Detroit area or not near a TV, and if you're in the Michigan area, it's going to be on CBSDetroit.com. Click on Watch Live when it appears.
Yep. And until then, folks, for Steve, this is Bad Cat. Keep your feet in the ground. Keep reaching for the galaxy.